This is primarily a silver video, but this chart is actually on a WTI oil, and it was something I've been expecting for a while. I thought oil was going to go up, and specifically because of unrest in the Middle East. I know I looked at Lindsey Williams. I pay attention to him because whatever information he gets, usually what he says about oil is more true. And I was following the political movements that have been happening in the Middle East all these months. And despite, even though it looked like he was totally wrong, and some of the reasons he gave why they backed off I thought were ludicrous. But I don't think it was because they were scared of the, they backed off on oil prices because they were scared of the population revolting. You know, I'm not that conspiratorial. I think what they're doing is cutting back the supply through unrest in the Middle East, and that affects the market. I also saw Primakov, you know, from the Soviet Union, used to be the leader there, talking about how it was not the West influencing the Middle East and a Muslim Brotherhood. And I says, yeah, okay. Yeah, I know Russia's in on all this stuff too, including Putin. They're all in on it with the West. And anybody who is Russian or anything that may happen to ever listen to this, you know, Russians and the Americans are on the same side. The leaders on both sides of the world are pulling the same thing on each set of people on opposite sides of the world. But I wanted to talk about this oil chart. You know, it broke through the 100 mark like butter. You know, I didn't even think it was going to do that. And, you know, if I knew what the heck, well, if anybody knew what the markets were going to do, even a certain percentage of the time, they would be extremely filthy rich. You know, reality is people make money by inside information and making events move and keeping their mouth shut about what happens. But I do expect this to go a hell of a lot higher because, you know, it's the classic thing. It's probably going to come back near 100, then bounce up to like 105. And since I am really a believer in physical commodities, I hold physical diesel fuel, okay? But there's only so much of that stuff you can hold. And I'm not saying what I got or where I have it, but I do have a significant physical diesel fuel supply. I do believe in physical commodities, physical silver, mainly. I do not ever think these markets are all going to collapse at once. That's a little bit too crazy because, say for instance, we went back to a gold standard and gold went to $50,000 an ounce, because that's probably where it would have to be if we went to a gold standard. And I'm not 100% sure if Mark Farber used that number, but he might have. That's roughly ballpark where gold would have to be if we went to a gold standard. Well, they're not going to truck around gold to make payments. They're going to do it electronically. They're going to do it by paper. So it's a matter of integrity. And, you know, in the case of, you know, these brokerage firms that go under like MF Global, I mean, if the guy was punished severely, you know, all the other people would straighten out. The problem is, you know, nobody gets in trouble, and it's just same old business as usual. But and I want to make a little comment about brokerage firms. You're better off going with the ones that are cheaper. These guys are charging you $75 a trade and stuff like that, plus all this other garbage. That's nuts. They always got a deal. They always want you to trade. You're better off sticking in one area and being conservative about it, and that's it. You know, looking at, again, oil pulled back, everything pulled back today. You know, I'm not 110% sure why, but you know, the unexpected happens all the time. But right now, it's a good time to buy physical silver. And the two I like the best. One, I like quality silver bullion up in Utah. And I always like these coins. I mean, they're not, you know, it's an independent mint, but I always liked the way they look. They look like the old dollar coins that we used to have in the United States. I just like the way these look, and I have a bunch of these. And if you look at Why Me Silver YouTube channel, he gives you a discount code, Lucky43113, for November. This guy's got a very good channel. If you want to follow, I mean, probably a lot of people do follow this channel, and I have dealt, and I'm not selling anything here. This is not a commercial. I'm just telling you, as far as, I think this is a smart deal. I'm just passing this on as a smart thing. I don't get any kind of commission over this, and if I did, it wouldn't be worth it. To me, what's more worth it is me being right personally, and I'm just passing on this information. You know, these people that go around giving advice for commissions, if they knew what the hell they were doing, they'd throw their own money into this stuff, they'd be right, and they'd be getting their 50 or 100% returns a year, and they wouldn't have to advise anybody. You know, I'm always suspicious of people who would advise people for fees. I'm always suspicious of that. But to me, this is a very good deal. I think this guy is very honest. He's up in Utah. I think he's up in Provo, Utah. And Why Me Silver has the discount code. You put that down. Watch this channel. They got some good information. They're helping everybody that's investing in silver. Now, the other one I like a lot is Gainesville Coins. I know I don't sound like I'm from Florida, and I'm not from Florida, but I'm down in Florida. And I get a lot from these guys, and I think the next batch I'm getting some of these Silver Eagles. I'm kind of sick of buying these damn things already, but I'll probably just get a few at a time, and I'm going to be unloading oil as I do that, paper oil. So, you know, I am into the physical. I do want to point out, this I always found interesting. I have a good friend of mine up in the New Jersey, New York area that's a currency officer for these people, Lakota Silver. And, you know, they got these prices on here for silver, and you notice they're higher than the other places. But that's not necessarily what you would pay if you call up. And I don't know if I want to give out his name up here on a YouTube yet, because I hadn't really talked to me yet. But, you know, I always found this Lakota Silver as a pretty awesome thing as far as, you know, ideology goes. And they have a bank system, and I think they have like we could put like 1,000 ounces in there, and they charge 1 ounce per whatever, some certain period of time to hold this silver. Now, and you can get, there could be loans against it and stuff like that. I personally, I'm a little squeamish about putting silver in this, you know, in this Lakota bank. It's just me personally. I would actually trust J.P. Morgan first, but, you know, I think this idea is gonna, and you know, maybe this needs some more years to establish itself. Where I would, I'm not saying they do anything wrong. I don't think they do anything wrong. It's just that I would feel very unsafe about, you know, putting money in this. But it may be good. I like the concept behind it, because they do have a banking system that's based upon true money and silver. But as far as you know, getting more silver during this time, I think people ought to do it. I mean, even if you're getting a small amount, you know, a few ounces, 10 ounces, 3 ounces, or whatever, you know, and you're buying them at the best price. Because we looked at those numbers. There was 100 million ounces of silver that went into coins and metals worldwide globally in 2010. Now, I know the number's higher today. I'm not talking ETFs or anything like that. And we did see those numbers where the ETF numbers look like they can't have all that silver in there actually physically. So, you know, the Max Kaiser program of taking more silver off the market, it's going to work. You know, even though he's charging $13 over his spot price. Oh my God, you know, I wonder about that. But, you know, like I point out, I'm not selling this stuff here or nothing. I like getting it from, you know, I'm cheap, okay? I look for the best deal. And that's another principle. When you got money, and people got money, this is where everybody screws up on average. They don't practice austerity when they have money. They spend it. That's why the average person screws up in principle. They spend the money as soon as they get it. You know, they think, oh, I got all this money now, buy this, buy that. They don't think about reinvesting, what the next move is, and that's very important. So me, myself, I always look for the best deal, the most honest investor, very important. First, you know, the most honest supplier, very important. I consider these people in Gainesville Coins to be very honest. Okay, they got very good prices. They're quick. You get you could set up an account on here. You get an email receipt of your invoice, and they send the products over right to you, and no problem. And I had no problem with Quality Silver Bullion. He's a very good person to deal with. He's very honest, in my opinion. And I like the design of these coins. You know, they're not much over spot. I just like the design of them. They look exactly like the old silver dollar, and we know how that could be played out. They could, who knows? Someday they might say this guy's counterfeiting money. You know, accuse him of this, and that could be very well a possibility. You know, as far as Why Me Silver, that's the discount code for the Walking Liberty again, and that's for the month of November. So, you know, I'd advise keeping the pressure on, you know, the people that are playing all the paper markets. And I don't have 100% against paper markets. Really, the point is, it's not that it's paper that represents something real. It's the fact that it's paper representing paper, and it's dishonesty that people have a contention with. So keep the pressure up on this stuff. Me, myself, you know, if it hits a little price point, you know, tiny bit of oil is going to be coming out of some of that electronic fun stuff, and I'll be buying more physical silver. I kind of expect this to go up to at least $150 a barrel. So that's a bet. And from everything I could see, the tensions of what I ran are going to keep continuing. So, you know, I don't make the decisions in the world. I just have to bet which way I think the world is going to go. And I am a believer in physical silver. But I'll recommend Quality Silver Bullion, and also Gainesville Coins. And I like these American Eagles too. I think I'm going to get some more of these. These are good coins.